Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing these fake news CNN media hacks. Who's next on the chopping block? Well, of course, it's none other than former CNN anchor Don Lemon, little Don Lemmy Boy, little Don Lemonhead. We're covering the Don Lemon Show, and no, not the actual Don Lemon Show, because, well, we all know what happened there. It didn't exactly last too long on X. But the Don Lemon saga continues, and of course the premise that he's built is that Elon Musk is just an objectively terrible person who's taking his free speech rights away. Apparently free speech doesn't exist on X according to Don Lemon, even though he's free to spew whatever BS narrative he wants. Oh, my free speech is under attack, Don Lemon says as he uploads videos to X complaining about the freaking CEO. Oh my god, my free speech is under attack, Don Lemon says as he's openly and freely posting videos to X criticizing the owner of the platform. What a dumb story this whole thing is, but it's just peak entertainment, so we'll keep covering it. To be honest with you guys, I miss little Don Lemonhead. I used to make videos covering his segments on nearly a weekly basis. You know, it just hasn't been the same since he's been gone, so let's relive the old days, shall we? Let's take a look. Let's delve into the very interesting mind of Don Lemon. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so we remember the initial complaint, right? Don Lemon said that X isn't a free speech platform. He said it on his vlog and said it on CNN.
Free speech is only important when someone you don't like, or I would say someone who doesn't have your same point of view, or someone is, if they're allowed to speak freely and to say their point of view. Apparently that doesn't matter to Elon Musk. It's just for maybe talking points for him or rhetoric, because it doesn't seem to matter when it's about him, questions about him from people like me. The man who calls himself a free speech absolutist. But apparently free speech absolutism doesn't apply when it comes to questions about him from people like me.
Don Lemon claims that X isn't a free speech platform. His reasoning? Well, it has nothing to do with his speech being censored. No, Don Lemon's First Amendment rights are being violated because he wasn't given a free Cybertruck, access to private charter flights, and an $8 million a year salary for an insignificant little man with dying influence. Yes, Don Lemon's free speech rights are being violated. Poor guy. Boo-hoo. Don Lemon really wants us to believe him. He wants us to believe him that he's a victim. But see, here's the problem with that little dishonest narrative. Our friend Donnie's what we call a public figure, and he has been for a very long time. And even beyond being a public figure, he's a TV personality. In other words, we have probably tens of thousands of hours of video and audio footage of Don Lemon saying things, going on the record with opinions. And here's where Don Lemon gets in trouble. He literally said on CNN that he's not sure if the public conversation or the town square should be privatized or ran by a private corporation. An interesting statement to be coming out of Don Lemon's facehole, considering this is what he said when Donald Trump was banned on Twitter.
Senator, nobody asked you to be the editor of the president's Twitter feed, the one he has been permanently barred from, the one he is whining about how they've taken away his freedom of speech. The fact is, these are private companies. They have no obligation to have anyone on their platforms. I think this is important for people to hear, especially considering how the type of discourse that we're having in the country right now. And he supposedly says this is a public square for all. Maybe we're learning that a public square should not be privately owned.
A stark contrast, isn't it? Or rather, a better way to describe it, probably. The abundant hypocrisy of the left. I mean, he is the biggest hypocrite known to frickin' mankind. Don't you find it funny how all the people who have been calling for censorship, all the people who have been in favor of private companies censoring conservatives, the moment they feel as though their free speech is under attack, or rather if they feel as though they can use the concept of free speech as a political cudgel, well then all of a sudden they're free speech activists. Give me a freaking break. And it becomes especially, I mean, even worse for Don Lemon on this particular issue. You know, you really start to see the clear hypocrisy with moments like this.
We don't agree on this.
Yes, you want censorship and I don't.
No, I don't want censorship at all.
Yes, you do.
No, I want responsibility. I think there...
You desperately want censorship.
No, if I want a censorship...
You want censorship so bad you can taste it.
No, that's not true. It's not true. I think that there's right and wrong. And I think that,
you want censorship.
and I think that when you have a platform that's as big as yours and as powerful as yours and as influential as yours, and you are a person of consequence to the world with what you do, that there is a certain responsibility that goes along with what you have on your platform and what you put out to the world. And I think that's important. You don't see that responsibility?
I think we have a responsibility to adhere to the law. And if people want the law changed, they should talk to their elected representative and get the law changed, and then we will adhere to the law.
Okay.
But if you want us to go beyond the law, that is us deciding to be censors.
So,
And I'm against censorship. I'm in favor of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And freedom of speech only is relevant when people you don't like say things you don't like. Otherwise, it has no meaning.
I don't know, Don. It sounds to me as though you support censorship. Don Lemon's argument is that there's a right and a wrong. What exactly does that mean, Don? Well, I'll tell you exactly what he meant. What he meant to say was censorship to him is justifiable based on his subjective view of what he believes is right or wrong. In other words, Don Lemon is a leftist fascist like the rest of them who believes that speech should be censored based on his values, or rather his ever-changing values, whatever benefits him at the time. If it makes him feel bad about himself, that speech should be banned. If it's counter to Don Lemon's interest, well then it should be illegal. The typical leftist tyrant stance. Yeah, we're the fascists though. What we're seeing is elitist panic. They're panicking that they lost control of the town square. They're panicking that Elon Musk brought free speech back. And in Don Lemon's case, I mean, he's just sad that he didn't get his $8 million. I think this guy needs a reality check that his market value is not $8 million, but rather probably somewhere around $8. Holy friggin' moly, what an utterly embarrassing display for this fake news CNN dork. And honestly, the craziest part, with all of these videos released, all of this incredible content in all of the wrong ways from such a small segment, with everything now being made public, there's people actually defending this guy. There's all kinds of leftoids on Twitter saying he, quote, cooked Elon Musk. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like we're watching a different movie. Here's a great example. Another interaction between Elon Musk and Don Lemon. This is a clip that leftists are now posting all over Twitter claiming that Don Lemon destroyed Elon Musk and made him look ignorant.
I think we should not make this a constant subject. I think we need to move on. I think we should treat people like people.
you don't agree that this country was founded on racism and founded on slavery and in many ways inequities that still continue on to this day?
I think every country at that time, and I think even today, was extremely racist. Every country. And obviously slavery was present in about half of this country. And no, but was not present in the North. There was racism for sure. But I think we want to look to the future rather than the past, and instead of engaging in constant rehashing of the past, because in fact, if you look at history, if you study history broadly, everyone was a slave. Everyone.
Yes. Well, not everyone was a slave.
No,
but
everyone was a slave.
Okay, but
we are all descended from slaves.
yeah. Well,
All of us.
yeah.
It's just a question of when. Was it more recent or less recent? That's it.
Right.
But what future do we want?
Is
this something we want to make a part of our constant dialogue forever, or do we want to say, like, let's just move on and treat everyone, according to just who they are as an individual?
We're not watching the same movie because, from my perspective, Don Lemon didn't cook squat while Elon Musk is whipping up Michelin-starred dishes in the kitchen. The one sentence that leftoids keep pointing to in their arguments that Elon Musk is ignorant and doesn't know what he's talking about is when he said, quote, everyone was a slave. Oh, that's fake news. Yeah, maybe not everyone was a slave, but essentially what Elon Musk was implying is that slavery existed everywhere. Almost every group of people at one point in time dealt with the evils of slavery. I mean, let's just look at what our far ancestors built across the world. We're talking about monolithic structures built hundreds of years ago, in some cases thousands of years ago, and not just in Europe or just in the Western world, across the entire globe. How do you think those structures were built? Most of them probably through slavery. You know, the idea that only white people are responsible for slavery or that white people were never victims themselves to forced labor is ridiculous. I don't understand what's so offensive about his remarks. He's actually spitting knowledge. He's right on the money. I mean, fundamentally, you cannot move forward if you only look backwards. Let's reduce the macro to micro. If you as an individual in your younger years faced, some sort of traumatic event, but as an individual you wanted to grow from it and make your life better, you have to look forward. You have to have a more positive forward-looking outcome, focused on building a future, not just rehashing all the negative of the past and allowing it to control your mindset or to put you in a victim mindset. Seems pretty logical to me, but apparently Elon Musk is a despicable racist and Don Lemon cooked him. We're watching a different show. Some people are watching the Don Lemon show, but we're watching the Don Lemon show. Two entirely different concepts. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you. Probably the last video. I think that's all the embarrassing clips. Don Lemon's career comeback collapses within an instant. No surprise to anyone. Don Lemon proved one thing this week, and that's that he hasn't changed at all. He hasn't learned from his mistakes. He doubled down. What a fascinating train wreck it's been. That's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.